So off goes Swamp Witch to perform a
Oh my God. I'm going to leak that one onto the internet when I'm mad at you.
Oh, no, you son of a bitch.
Hey, I'm Blake.
And I'm Dave.
And this is a Haunted House episode of First Prize Films, the spiritual podcast where we each select a genre-specific movie separated by at least a decade and pit them against each other to find out which film wins the coveted title of First Prize. Dave, what does that mean for us?
Yeah, so it's about as valid as socks with sandals. Fucking knock it off.
I have some fashion choices to re-examine.
I'm looking at you, man. Today, we are learning to never buy a house with these haunted house movies. I made Blake watch The Conjuring, a movie that begs the question, why do people ignore the red flags in their new houses?
It's a very good question. That's why I refuse home ownership, renters forever. But I made you, Dave, watch 1982's Poltergeist, a film that solidified my decision to get cremated.
I agree with that statement.
So, Dave, this is quite a fun episode. These are haunted house movies, and we're talking about a lot of different things, not just a horror movie episode. What drew you to The Conjuring?
Well, I'm not a big horror film guy, especially ones that make me have nightmares and, leave all the lights on in my house. But
yeah, sure.
I know that this one's famous because it's based on a true story.
The heaviest of air quotes. My back hurts from the air quotes. They're so heavy.
And in spite of the fact that it came out later, I think after this movie, that Ed and Lorraine Warren have faked most of their stuff.
Didn't see that coming at all.
I know that this is a famous thing, and I know people have talked about The Conjuring before, and I'm like, fuck it, Sure.
Had you ever seen this before?
Nope.
Oh, interesting.
And I'd never seen the Poltergeist either, so I'm really curious as to why you decided to pick that one.
Oh, dude, I'm not gonna lie. I love Poltergeist. I saw it when I was a kid with my mom, and I really enjoyed it. I remember it being really spooky and lots of interesting things going on.
Yeah.
Like a lot of movies I choose for this show, I haven't seen it in a long time, and this is a perfect excuse to revisit it.
Yeah.
And I also want to see what you think of it, if it held up to my idea of it from a child, and how you view it as an adult now.
Okay.
The Conjuring, I think I saw when it came out in 2013, and it's a James Wan film. These Conjuring movies have spun off their own universe, but this is kind of where this all started.
Yes.
I haven't seen this movie since it came out, and I'm pretty glad you chose it, honestly. I really wanted to see this again.
I definitely have a lot of questions for myself.
Yeah.
Mainly, why the fuck did I do this to myself? And
of course.
What am I going to ask people to ensure that their houses are not haunted before I enter them?
So, Dave, I have to ask before we get into these movies.
Okay.
Have you ever had any sort of haunted house experience of your own?
Yeah, actually one that you and I share.
Oh, yeah. I
Yes.
guess not haunted house. It's a haunted townhouse experience.
There's houses in the name. It counts. So,
Oh, true.
One day I get home from work and you get home. You're like, hey, I want to do a Ouija board.
We were living together at the time.
We were living together, yes. And I was like, sure, let's do it. And we decided we're going to try and film everything. So we set up, how many cameras? 6?
2 actual cameras and then 2 webcams from our laptops.
And
So
then
4
a
cameras
couple
in
of
total.
phones, though, I think, too.
Oh, maybe. I don't remember.
We also had to deal with the fact that we kept questioning each other, you're moving it. No, you're moving it. No, you're moving it. And we talked to somebody who may or may not be Demi Moore or a demon. We don't know. It spelled out DEM, and then we're like, nope, we're done. And we told it wasn't welcome here. Also, we asked for a sign. If this is real, give us a sign. And then the mail slot on a non-windy day clinked.
Okay. You say non-windy day, but we were in the middle of a snowstorm, but I was home a lot. And through a lot of storms and a tornado, and that mail slot had never done anything like that.
No.
So it was weird.
Very
I'm not
weird.
a particular believer, really, honestly. But I have experienced some weird shit in my life.
Yep, with me there for one of them. So
Bonded through the spirit realm, I suppose.
bonded through trauma.
Trauma bonded.
Yay!
Woo! Yeah, now that we've taken a dive into our trauma, let's project it onto other people and fictional characters and a little James Wan flavored edition of First Prize Films.
Listen, I want to get to it, so.
James Wan, more like James Wen.
Movie 1, The Conjuring, 2013.
All right, Dave.
Yes.
Give us the synopsis for 2013's James Wan's The Conjuring.
In the 1970s, Ed and Lorraine Warren picked the most traumatizing career ever hunting ghosts and demons, and sometimes creaky pipes. But one case has made them famous. They fight to save the lives of a family who can't stop popping out crotch gobblings from the spirit of a witch who is probably just pissed off at her name.
I need a map for that one, but
Yes.
yeah, I'm on board.
Cool.
It started out small. A hand or a leg was in a different position. Then one day it was in a completely different room.
So we open to a close-up of the eye of the single creepiest doll I've ever seen in my entire life. But also it's 1968, and we're with some young adults telling Ed and Lorraine Warren, played by Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, about some creepy shit that's been going on with a doll that they found in their house.
First off, I don't care what fucking year it is or any other context. This is a scary doll. There's no way in fuck, even brand new, that this doll does not come off as creepy.
Yes, I agree, 1,000%. And I think because of all the drugs that were about to start happening in the next few years in 1968,
Yeah.
these kids were like, you know what, let's fuck around with a ghost. And then they immediately found out.
Yeah, get into the ghost stuff.
We gave her permission to move into the doll.
Wait. You did what?
Good question, Ed. Well, we find out that the doll started leaving sweet little notes and redecorating the apartment, in which, hey, they invited the ghost, so it lives here now too.
Dude, it's like, what are you fucking doing? You just gave the ghost a corporeal body that you used to hang out with. Like, here you go, here's the doll. Just come hang out with us and live with us. Like, don't do that.
And just to be clear, sweet notes and redecorating the apartment is basically the ghost doll trashing everything and leaving notes like, do you miss me? So
That roommate's gonna be a little bit harder to evict.
yeah, probably. Also, according to Ed and Lorraine, it's not a ghost at all. It's a demon in a doll.
Oh, great. Oh,
Yeah. Basically, that's my second worst nightmare behind scary children.
behind scary children?
Yes. Scary children are way scarier.
So we got the church to send a priest over to perform a blessing on the house and the occupants.
So after a quick lecture hall scene, we get some on-screen text. And I knew you said this movie was going to be scary, but not on-screen text scary, Blake.
Oh, I know. Even the font is scary.
Either way, according to the screen, Ed and Lorraine are the world's most renowned paranormal investigators, behind only Zach Baggins, I'm sure.
Again, heaviest of air quotes.
So we're in Rhode Island now, and it's 1971. We get to meet all 7 members of the Parent family, which, based on changing child labor laws of the time, was a total waste of sperm.
I am pro child labor laws if it means we don't get any more of these kids.
I thought you were going to
Please.
say pro-child labor, but all right.
I mean, I do have some shoes that need shining and a chimney that needs swept.
Get
so
to it,
who knows?
children.
I can be swayed.
But they're moving into a bigger, scarier house to, I guess, punish their kids for not being able to work on the field. I don't know. But there's one member particularly who isn't into this new house, Blake. And it's
Who?
their fluffiest member, their dog Sadie.
Oh, the cutest member, probably. My favorite member.
The only member that I like.
No peeking.
After a really cool, long single shot of the family moving their stuff in, and the youngest, who is totally not pulling her weight, she finds a creepy music box thing. And then we fast forward to the night where 3 of the girls are playing hide and clap, which is just like hide and seek, but if you don't really understand the rules.
They had to dumb it down. These kids have been drinking a lot of water out of lead pipes.
Guess what the seeker finds aside from her sister?
What?
I think we have a cellar or something.
It's a boarded up cellar, Blake, with an obnoxious amount of cobwebs, an old piano, and some furniture. Oh, and no lights, aka the reason to sell the house immediately.
You move into a house to find an undisclosed basement that was boarded. I don't care what year this is.
No.
You should know that's where the demons live.
Exactly.
I've seen way too many movies for this to be okay in the least bit.
I agree 100%. Also, the dog is barking outside while looking into the house, and that's another red flag that I don't know why you're ignoring.
Mommy, where's Sadie? She's outside. Why don't you go and get her?
So the next morning, the family wakes up to a bunch of not at all alarming things that happened while they slept.
Everything's fine.
Mom, or Carolyn, woke up with a giant bruise that she implies is from sex. But looking at her husband, Roger, and also the fact that they have 5 fucking kids, that's a no for me, dog.
That's a no for this entire situation, man. No way. And Roger, sorry, buddy, not doing it for me.
Dude, they can barely afford their new house, let alone another mouth-breathing, money-suck crotch goblin, so sex is off the table.
Mouth-breathing, money-suck crotch goblins? Okay,
It's a mouthful,
No,
but
that's
it's
good.
true.
Oh my god!
The house is super cold, the toilets don't work, the clocks all stopped at 3:07, which is the scariest part, and then the fucking dog died, and for some fucking reason, they don't immediately put the house back up for sale.
All their equity's tied up in the house, Dave. This is kind of like the baseline excuse for why families stay in haunted houses. They stretch themselves a little thin just to get the perfect house, and then they get it. It's fucking haunted. And like, well, kids can't move. My equity's tied up. Sorry, kids. We're all gonna fucking die here.
Yeah, that's fun, right? You wanted to
You just
die
moved
here?
into your own coffin.
Keep everything locked in here. Just don't touch anything.
This is crazy.
So we arrive at the Warren house where Ed is getting interviewed for a newspaper article, I guess, and decides that this is a good time to show off his collection of his haunted souvenirs like he just got home from a school carnival. Dude, we get it, okay? You solve ghost crimes or whatever.
Dude, this is the most insane thing I think I see in this movie. They're like, hey, you know what? We should take all these haunted objects and put them in our garage where it'll be safe.
Right.
In the beginning, we saw the Annabelle doll, right? And the Warrens said, oh, hey, we're going to take the doll and keep her somewhere locked up safe. And then we see the doll.
Yeah.
She's not in like reinforced steel, like I assume, like buried in concrete 6 feet underground. No, she's just in a little untempered glass display case saying, oh, hey, don't open this.
Right.
You can't go into this room no matter what, remember?
Yes, Dad.
At least they're smart enough to have a rule that their daughter, Judy, is not allowed in this room. But she kind of snuck in anyway because kids are not just scary, they're stupid.
Dude, Judy's dead to me.
I mean, honestly, you can't be any more stupid. Everything in there is haunted, Judy.
And like knowing this is your career, like let's have some kids and put all this haunted stuff in the garage with a sign on the door that says spooky stuff, don't enter.
Just begging for disaster.
What's that sound?
It's Cindy. She's in my room. She's sleepwalking again.
Back at the parent house, Daddy Roger is woken up from his mid-work slumber by a knocking sound, which gives context to why they're financially destitute, but also the knocking sound is coming from his daughter's face. Oh, no! At least the sound Cindy's face makes when it slaps against an old armoire in their room, anyway. They say that she's sleepwalking, but I think she's just tired of having 4 sisters.
Just ramming her face right into the armoire. Roger's just like sleeping through his taxes or whatever the fuck he's supposed to be doing.
I miss Sadie a lot. She was my best friend.
You're my friend, right?
Who are you talking to?
Rory.
So the next day, Carolyn finds the youngest daughter, April, talking to air, which at first makes her regret all the cocktails she drank during her pregnancy, but then...
Oh, no!
It's the 70s, Blake, get over it. But then she decides to engage in a little playtime with April. You know, a quaint little game of clap at the idiot. I'm sorry, hide and clap.
What? Laugh at the idiot. That all my childhood games now make sense, actually.
Ha! You took your blindfold off.
So Carolyn follows the claps to the face banging post, aka the weird armoire, but April isn't even in the room, so that's great. Apparently in this film, we ignore red flags like we ignore Carolyn's pregnancy cocktails.
Oh!
Yeah, it's all gonna work itself out in the end, apparently.
Dave's coming for Carolyn.
I'm coming for the 70s more than Carolyn. She's a victim of her time.
That's a good point, actually. God bless you, Carolyn. Kind of. I don't know how I feel about you yet.
Ugh.
Christine? Are you all right?
Do you see it? There's someone behind the door.
That night, Christine is woken up by either her imagination or some unseen entity. I'm really not sold on which one that is yet, but either way, it yanks on her foot and tells her that it wants her family dead. And I'm just glad that something is verbalizing what's in my head. Oh, no, I'm kidding. I don't want them dead. I just wish Roger would have worn a fucking condom.
Hey, that makes 2 of us.
But Blake, we're gonna go ahead and move on because things are getting tense. Carolyn investigates some noises when she gets wrecked by a possessed door that shoves her down the stairs.
Who is that? Who's ever down there? I'm gonna lock you in now.
This thing just goes, and she goes, ow! And I guess technically she knocks her own ass down the stairs, but that door comes in hot for sure.
Honestly, I'm really curious as to why there's not a Conjuring spin-off movie where you get the backstory of the haunted door. But we all know it's just going to end up in Ed and Lorraine's hot suburban garage anyway. So things are obviously going crazy now, Blake. Yeah. Carolyn is trapped in the basement, inhaling toxic mold, probably. And Cindy continues to hit her face on the armoire because she's obviously the middle child, which you can relate to.
Oh, it hurts. It's true.
But finally, this ghost thing, it reveals itself.
Thank God. How long's it been in this movie? We finally get to see this thing.
Well, calm down, because it's basically just an old lady jumping off the armoire.
That is true.
Either way, though, Grandma Olympics leaps from the mortal plane, and she's gone, just as Roger shows back up from a work trip or something, and this guy's fucking ruining everything.
Somebody, goddammit, tell me what's going on here!
Welcome home, Roger. We have no fucking clue.
Yeah, late as always, buddy.
Hello. Hi. Thanks for coming.
So Ed and Lorraine decide to check out the Perrin family's demon house, while Roger and Carolyn try to explain all this spirit realm sporting events that are going on.
It's an active house, Dave.
And Lorraine, who happens to be a medium, which I didn't realize until just now.
Sure.
She says she feels like something happened here as she looks around, which, duh, obviously this ghost is an interior decorator who died because the wallpaper is tacky.
It needs some work. I also have some notes. So they're just trying to help.
They are just trying to help. It's not working. Because besides this obvious crime against taste, there is something evil in the house, and the Warrens decide it needs an exorcism.
What?
But don't bust out the holy water yet, Blake.
Okay.
Because we need proof, I guess.
There's this awful smell like rotting meat.
Well, rancid smells could indicate some type of demonic activity.
So the Warrens get to work.
The Warrens got to make sure it's not the Perrin family with an elaborate set of fishing line and things like set up around the house, like a ghost Rube Goldberg machine.
It was built in 1863 by a man named Judson Sherman, who was married to a woman named Bathsheba.
Bathsheba?
Nope.
The ghost's name is Bathsheba.
It's not even hyphenated.
No fucking wonder it's haunting the family that has normal-ass names.
Normalize the name Bathsheba.
Yeah.
Just saying.
No, actually don't, though, because that's awful. And on top of that, we find out that Bathsheba sacrificed her baby, hung herself, and cursed anyone who tried to take her land. Another woman killed her son and then herself in the house. Another kid drowned in a pond on the original plot of land. And oh my God, why the fuck aren't they burning it down already?
Okay, I'm anti-Bathsheba now. Yeah. I'm on your side.
It's like I've been trying to tell you, man.
If you met one Bathsheba, it's too many Bathshebas.
I mean, there's a reason they stopped making Bathshebas. Or whatever.
What's this do? Oh, when there's an instant drop in temperature, a thermostat triggers the camera to take a picture.
You actually caught things on film?
Well, yeah, that's the point.
Ed and Lorraine get their crew together to start setting up cameras and shit to get their quote-unquote evidence. And after we get a montage of setting everything up and a bunch of knob turning, for some reason.
You gotta make sure the knobs are secure.
Right. And also getting Ed putting crosses around the house to purposely piss off the witch ghost, shit immediately starts going down.
Dude, Ed says why he's putting up the crucifixes. He's like, you gotta rattle him a little bit. You gotta piss him off a little bit. And I was like, buddy, fucking relax here.
Calm the fuck down, Ed.
Yeah, he's like a kid putting gum on somebody's chair. Like, this will get him real mad.
Maybe you don't want to do that to the ghost that you can't see.
Right, it's 9:18. We're headed down into the cellar where the door's just opened on its own. Let's keep the cellar light off.
Okay, so when I said shit starts going down, I meant that one door opened, they went to the cellar, found nothing, heard nothing, and then that same door slammed shut. And then it's just the next fucking day.
They all just kind of wandered around until they fell asleep somewhere.
Probably. Now shit starts really going down.
Yeah.
Lorraine finds a sheet ghost, and then Carolyn gets woken up from her nap by the swamp witch to a nice little blood vomit swap. And I'm not saying that's the literal worst way to wake up from a nap. Okay, no, that's exactly what I'm saying.
I mean, I've had worse wake-ups, but I don't really want to talk about it on microphone.
Okay, great. Probably should see an exorcist.
Probably should see an oncologist.
Ed?
Look what what you made me do!
So it's later that night, Blake, when things start to actually happen, okay?
Finally.
We see a ghost of a servant who looks pretty much over this shit, but weirder. And Cindy starts a spirit-assisted sleepwalk. So she says, wink, wink.
Okay.
She goes up to her room toward the armoire. She opens the armoire. She gets in the armoire. She goes through the armoire. And now there's children in the walls. That's worse than raccoons.
Well, is it?
Yes. Because you got to feed the children.
Oh, good point.
If they die, you have a problem.
Well, your grocery bill goes down, but...
Oh, yikes. So Lorraine goes to investigate this little, like, behind the wall area and falls through the floor that's in the hole in the wall. And she ends up in the fucking basement where she's just fine.
She just coal shoots her way to the basement.
She just stands up, not broken ankles. No, a little tiny cut on her forehead, but other than that, she's perfectly fine.
She fell 2 stories through a wall and then out into the foundation.
Right. She is perfectly unconcussed, and everything's just fine, I guess.
We're getting to it.
Because she meets a new friend. It's the lady who the swamp witch made to kill her own son and then herself.
Oh, yeah.
And then the swamp witch comes to hang out.
I see. It was a hanging.
Yeah. Her feet are hanging because she's hung herself.
Yeah. I get it.
And then the swamp witch decides enough of these crosses and I guess just decides to gently knock them all over before grabbing daughter Nancy by the fucking hair and dragging her all over the living room, which can only be stopped by a quick haircut.
I did think about that this time. She's like, hold on, get her still. And she just runs over, tunk, just chops off the hair. It's like, what? No, what?
Just take
it's not
the
a
hair
physical
back.
thing. Just
get in its way.
How did this solve anything?
I don't know.
Whatever. She has a sick new haircut now, at least.
Yeah, great. I'm sure that's going to be great for a child girl in the fucking 70s.
She already has enough problems at home. She doesn't need any more problems at school.
Right. God damn.
Mommy? Daddy?
So now we're at the Warren house, where their daughter Judy is now being targeted by the swamp witch because of the locket that it ripped off Lorraine's neck in the basement.
Bro, can I just say, there's so many fucking characters in this movie. I don't know the names of any of them. I know Ed and Lorraine, Mom, Dad, Spooky Ghosts.
Spooky Ghost. What about the...
Oh, and Annabelle.
Oh, there you go. There's the one. But honestly, though, Blake, say what you will about the Swamp Witch, but at least she's a multitasker.
True.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Also, she got Annabelle out for reinforcements.
Oh, fuck.
She's still in the case.
Can Annabelle teleport? Or wait, I'm not sure I understand what just happened here.
Can somebody take my fucking advice on the reinforced steel cage for this thing?
Yeah, I would think they're going to need to at this point. I mean, either way, though, enough of the Warrens. Let's see what's happening with the family who's not a motel, the parent family.
Do I have to care?
I mean, I'm sure they're having a grand old time, though.
Dad! Mom just left with Christine and April.
Oh. I'm sure they're just going for ice cream, though, right?
Yeah.
No, that's right. The Swamp Witch likes to possess the mother to sacrifice the child. Duh.
Oh, duh.
All right.
Sorry. I was falling a little bit behind there, but I'm back. I'm back.
Okay.
If we take her out, the witch will kill her.
Everyone rushes to the house where Carolyn, possessed by the Swamp Witch, is trying to kill Christine with scissors, I guess.
Which isn't very creative.
No, it's not. But then a huge fight ensues, and they get her covered in a sheet and tied to a chair, which is now the second ghost sheet we've seen. And this has got to be the most effective way to keep a possessed human at bay, right?
Yeah, probably.
Because either way, though, Ed decides that they can't wait for the church to approve the exorcism. They got to go off the books, or under the table, or through the backwoods grandma's house we go. I don't know.
It's a very windy path.
I have no idea.
Defende no semprelio.
Ed finally starts the exorcism, and demon birds? I don't know. They start attacking the house, which causes the foundation to shake. I don't know if one's actually causing the other, but the house isn't structurally sound anymore.
No, of course not. There's fucking kids in the walls. Nothing is sound. This whole thing's about to collapse. They got demon doors, kids in the walls. Oh, I hate this.
Yeah.
I hate this house, and I hope it collapses.
Yeah, me too. And that's all I do know, at least until everything goes quiet. So the Swamp Witch lifts Carolyn upside down in the fucking chair, puts her on the fucking ceiling, and then after she gets smashed down on the ground because Ed's like, let her go.
Bon Jove, let her go.
She then tells Roger that Carolyn is already gone, and now everyone's gonna die. You know, boilerplate spooky stuff.
I did like this visual, though. I really like the basement shot. It's kind of like this low, wide angle of the like chair lifting, and it like flips around. It's pretty cool.
Yes.
I think it's a really effective visual. James Wan knows how to shoot a horror film.
I can agree with that. So off goes Swamp Witch to kill the second kid. Good thing she brought a backup.
You just never know.
Right.
Bathsheba! By the power of God, I condemn you back to hell!
I love these big religious incantations. Damn you back to hell.
Also, we're pretty lucky because right as Swamp Witch is about to win, Roger and Lorraine are about to get through to Carolyn, and she fights her way back, puking up her borrowed blood vomit and getting her body back with a fucking smile. Read the room, Carolyn. Now is not the time.
You got so many kids, so many ghosts, man. Just have some self-restraint.
Right. You just almost murdered your daughter.
It's over.
And as the sun rises, Ed, Lorraine, and crew get Roger and Carolyn out of the house to reunite with their way too big family. So it's our happy ending. Ed and Lorraine are back in their house, where Ed brings another fucking spooky souvenir to the souvenir room.
Mm-hmm.
And roll credits.
This is just a wild ride of a film. It tries to jam a lot of things in it. A lot of lore, a lot of characters, a lot of other lore from other spooky things. This film wants to do a lot of things. It really does. And accomplishes some of those things.
Does it?
A few of those things it accomplishes, I think.
One or two of those things.
There's some scary stuff in this.
Yeah, it did make me jump a couple of times. Oh, fuck.
People laud this film as like a very, very scary film. And oh, yeah, I remember the reviews and stuff about it coming out. Like, this is the scariest thing I've seen in so long. And it doesn't really hit that way for me. It feels very like commercialized horror.
Yes, absolutely.
Very,
that's exactly what it is.
But interesting camera angles, and I think the acting was relatively good in this. I think everybody did a pretty good job for what they were dealing with.
I think that the acting was relatively good, actually. I think the lady who played Carolyn did a really good job. I think that the kids were really great, which is something that you can't really count on these days.
That's a great point. There are great kid actors in this.
Vera Farmiga is always really good, so...
I love her in everything, yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a good movie. It just felt very boilerplate.
I think there's a lot of interesting things about this film that make it a fun haunted house movie, because it does hit all those like tropey things that you would expect in a movie like this. So, I think it fits perfectly in our episode.
I agree. But now I'm kind of curious to see how it goes with the Poltergeist. So let's go ahead and get sucked into that one.
All right, stop coming on to me.
Oh, come on. Oh.
Movie 2, Poltergeist, 1982.
Listen, dude, I am ready to stop fearing houses and just really fear what's under them. Let's hear the synopsis for Poltergeist.
When a supernatural presence kidnaps a child into the spirit realm, her family enlists help, like scientists, mediums, and most effectively, a rope. Watch as a family is pushed to the brink and then drags their feet on moving out of their very, very haunted house.
Yeah.
We open to a TV changing to static for the night and flickering, which was a little triggering for me, to be honest with you, Dave.
So, was it? Was that?
Well, by triggering, I kind of meant it gave me a grand mal seizure.
Oh, yeah.
For real, this TV's flickering like crazy.
So
it's like
bad.
a strobe light. But for context, back in the day when TV stations were finished airing stuff for the night, they'd play the national anthem and a test pattern and would just go off the air.
Yes.
And play static. So early TV was very boring and had limited hours.
It had business hours.
Anyway, we are in the middle-class house of the Freeling family, who are all asleep now, except for the youngest of three children, Carol Ann, who looks like a Swedish baby doll in pajamas.
Was she not? I'm confused.
She approaches the staticky TV, the RCA epilepsy model, I presume, and she decides to have a pretty casual conversation with it.
Hello? What do you look like?
Like a TV, Carol Ann.
I don't care how cute this little girl is. She'd be sleeping outside if you're talking to the TV like that in my house. Don't do it.
Even if there was nothing paranormal about it. Like, nope.
You're making me uncomfortable. Sleep in the backyard. But I guess the TV isn't responding like Carol Ann wanted, so she just starts yelling at the TV.
Talk loud, I can't hear you.
The entire family wakes up, and you know what they say, Dave?
Nothing?
Nothing. They just stare at her. I'm a little freaked out by all this. I need something a little more whimsical. That's more like it,
there
Dave.
You go. Love that.
We're in the lovely, picturesque California neighborhood, Cuesta Verde, where the grass is green as hell, I gotta say.
It's impossibly green for California.
We'll talk about the fertilizer they're using later, but for now, we get to soak up the terrifying nature of how normal this place is. It's like the Disneyland of neighborhoods. The most mediocre place on earth. But we also get a sense of the Freeling family individually.
Yes.
We have the father, Steve, played by Craig T. Nelson, who likes football and beer.
Yep.
Diane, the mom, who is a mom. Dana's the teenage brat. Robbie, who has so many Star Wars toys you'd think this was a commercial. And of course, Carol Ann, who, after her bird dies, immediately overfeeds the shit out of some goldfish. One night during a thunderstorm, Robbie and Carol Ann fall asleep with their parents when Carol Ann is woken up by the static on the TV, and she crawls close and reaches out when an animated ghost hand claws back at her.
Oh, is that a ghost hand? I thought it was that cartoon smell. You know, like when you can see the smell in a cartoon?
It's Pepe Le Pew. Yeah. The TV farted. But this wispy ghost claw shoots around the room and causes the entire house to shake. And Carol Ann doesn't scream or anything.
Nope.
The only thing she says is,
"They're here."
Ah, it's the famous line. I know this line.
It's the line. Everybody knows the
Everybody
line.
knows the line.
But listen, lose the kid, move out of the house,
Yes.
and chalk it up to a loss.
Exactly.
That's
Start over.
my recommendation for you, Freeling family. You take my advice, right, Dave?
Yeah, but see, the thing is, you wouldn't even had to have given me the advice. The second that fucking happens, I'm out of there so fast that I'm going to leave trails of my stuff behind me. And my family's going to be like, where are you going?
Anywhere.
Not here.
Anywhere. But Carol Ann was the only one who saw this. The family just felt the rumbling and they thought it was an earthquake.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Diane, she has a question for Carol Ann the next day.
Sweetie, remember last night? Do you remember when you woke up and you said they were here?
Uh-huh.
Well, who did you mean? Who's here?
The TV people.
Diane doesn't even have a follow-up question to
Nope,
this.
she's just like, okay.
Not that she has to be a detective, but
No.
bruh, that's weird, right?
That's super weird.
But she literally doesn't even ask her anything. She just accepts that the quote-unquote TV people are here and just like, okay.
Sure.
To be fair, though, Diane, the mom, she does have more important things to do, like watch on wistfully as the construction workers in the backyard hit on her teenage daughter,
Oh, my
Dana.
God.
I'm beginning to dislike the 80s, Dave.
Just now?
What are you doing?
Anyway, Dana and Robbie, they leave for school when the family dog, with a confusing name, E-Buzz, E.Buzz.
What?
E-Buzz barks randomly at things around the house, but I do have to say, it is a weird name, but I did look it up because it was so specific and strange. I was like, what is E-Buzz? Mm-hmm. And apparently is the name of a pimp character in an SNL sketch from around the time.
Cool.
Leaning into teaching the kids about the world. With the two oldest kids at school, Diane, she's cleaning up around the house, but she notices the kitchen chairs are pushed out from around the table. So she asks Carol Ann,
Did you do this?
You guys.
She pushes the chairs back into place, you know,
yeah.
and grabs some cleaning supplies from under the sink when... In the blink of an eye, the chairs are now stacked on top of the table like somebody was prepping for post-mortem Jenga. Like, what is going on here?
Quick, hurry before it stops again.
When Steve gets home that night, Diane gets him immediately, and she's like, you gotta come in here and see this shit. She sets up a chair in the kitchen, and it slides into the dining room all by itself. She's like super freaked out. No, wait, sorry. She's fucking stoked, dude.
I mean, honestly, I don't understand how you are so excited. And then even more excited to be like, try it. They pull you across the floor.
Dude, it's like the carnival came to her house just to put on a show for her. And like literally, she puts her own child in the hot spot, the quote unquote hot spot, and Carol Ann goes sliding across the kitchen.
Why?
Like you're playing with the ghosts? Are you fucking insane? Steve, as the only smart one here, he's actually freaked out.
Yes.
I'm the one who has had to live with this freaky thing all day and nothing bad happened.
No one's going in the kitchen until I know what's happening.
So this is obviously alarming to Steve, even though Diane's having a fucking blast. But for context, Steve is a salesperson for the subdivision that they live in, Cuesta Verde. He's personally sold most of the new homes that have been built, and now he's looking around his house like, I'm the top salesman, and all I got was this haunted house. But while Steve tries to figure out how to evict Satan, Robbie's in his room looking at an old tree outside his window. This is going to go pretty well, right?
Yeah, trees are harmless, right?
The old tree comes alive and just scoops Robbie out of his bed for a midnight snack.
What the fuck?
The tree literally tries to eat Robbie.
Oh my god, why is the tree trying to eat the kid? This is escalating way too quickly.
Right? And that's not all. Like, the closet door in Carol Ann's room opens up and starts sucking everything into it like a spirit world Hoover. It sucks so hard, it just rips Carol Ann into the closet.
Ghost is just like, you know what?
Like he's about to take a big vape rip out of Carol Ann.
Also, can we talk about how Robbie is going to immediately be traumatized for life by almost being eaten by a fucking tree?
Oh, Robbie's never going to be the same again.
Carol Ann, baby.
Carol Ann? Luckily, Steve saves Robbie from the tree's digestive tract, and they get back inside to find that Carol Ann is gone. But you know where she is, Dave?
In the closet.
In the TV.
What?
Shut up, it makes sense. Now, I gotta say, this whole thing went from a cute little ghost trick in the kitchen to a demonic nightmare in like 2 seconds flat. It happened so fast that I thought the tree snatching Robbie thing was a dream sequence.
Honestly, to me, it really felt like the ghost, while dragging everything across the floor to appease Diane, the whole time was like, I'll show you to take me fucking like a joke. You're gonna take me seriously, goddammit.
I'm not your ghost monkey. But I guess the revelation of Carol Ann being in the TV was just like a little too much for the Freelings to handle. So I guess they just went to bed because suddenly it's the next day. And Steve, he's got an appointment with a group of parapsychologists, and they're going to help him get his daughter out of the TV.
Sure.
Would your family welcome a serious investigation of these disturbances?
Dr. Lish, we don't care about the disturbance. We just want you to find our little girl.
Steve is looking a little worse for wear, but with the Ghostbusters in tow, they get back to the house and they look for answers, Dave. Fortunately, the first room they look in has shit just flying around everywhere in it, so that was pretty quick. Boom. Evidence.
Hey, look, we're not faking.
Now, our experts tell the Freelings that it's probably a poltergeist, which sounds pretty awesome. Yes, but basically...
Awesome. Poltergeist are usually associated with an individual.
Poltergeist disturbances are of fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months.
Then we don't have much time, Dr. Lush, because my daughter is alive somewhere inside this house.
We got stuff to get to, because we got to begin Operation Carol Ann is in the wall somewhere, and now we got to get her out.
It's a very exhaustive operation.
It is. It's all hands on deck, Dave. They start talking to Carol Ann through the TV when she says...
Just stay away from the light. Stay away from the light. The light is dangerous.
Okay, so the light's dangerous?
You want to stay in the dark in the weird closet realm?
All of a sudden, my grandma's calming words when I was like sick as a kid feel a little more ominous.
Which were...
I don't remember like her exact words, but it's something like run towards the light, Blake. Run as fast as you can. The Wheel of Fortune is almost on, so hurry up. Anyway, things are getting dangerous both in my head and in this house, so everyone decides to sleep downstairs while the paranormal team set up and do their thing. And by thing, I mean eat Cheetos and other name-brand snacks and listen to their headphones while their cameras record stuff.
Yeah.
One of our paranormal investigators, glasses guy, he raids the fridge before he casually rips his own face off in the bathroom.
I mean, rude.
But don't freak out yet, Dave.
Too late. Why?
Well, first, because the dummy head that this happens to looks really bad.
Yeah, it's very bad.
But second, this face mutilation scene was only a hallucination, a disturbing hallucination in a PG-rated movie. Yeah, PG, right there with Encanto, How to Train Your Dragon, and fucking Free Willy. But to be fair to the PG movie thing, this was before PG-13 movies existed. Yeah, the producers, including Steven Spielberg, by the way, argued the MPAA down from an R rating to PG. So thanks for the nightmare, Steve. I'll see you in hell. Anyway, after those shenanigans are through, the team's cameras turn by themselves to capture a group of ghosts sashaying their way down the stairs.
All I could think of was the fucking cartoon smell animation.
It's PG, Dave. Relax.
Robbie? Call me, okay?
But what the Freelings do know is that a haunted house is no place for a kid, Dave.
No.
So they do the safest thing possible and put Robbie unattended in a taxi to go to his grandma's house. This taxi seems way more dangerous than a haunted house, but whatever, I'm not a parent, so I don't care.
It was the 80s.
Excuse me.
We've missed you down at the office, Steve. The boys have gotten worried.
Now we take a little detour from the ghost stuff so Steve can talk with his boss because he apparently hasn't been showing up to work lately. And I gotta say, I'm a little confused on the timeline of this movie because it all seems like this has happened over like the last couple of days, but they talk like it's been like a minute since he's been to work.
And also, I'm confused because his boss is basically like, hey, you've missed a lot of work, so how about a bonus?
Oh, yeah, that is really interesting. He's like kind of concerned about Steve, but not so much that like, hey, man, get back to work, dude. He's like, hey, Steve, dude, I haven't seen you in a while, and I've been just trying to give you this raise and all this extra money and like a new house and shit. You want to show up to work so I can give you things?
Right. Can I work for this company?
Either way, the conversation between Steve and his boss takes a little bit of a turn because they go for a walk, and the boss reveals something about the land that the subdivision was built on.
We own all the land. We've already made arrangements for relocating the cemetery. Besides, we've done it before in 76. Right down there.
Oh, so Cuesta Verde is built on old cemetery grounds. It's it's a weird inclusion to this film because I literally have no idea how that's ever going to be relevant.
Don't mind hanging back. You're jamming my frequencies.
So finally, we're back at the house, and our parapsychologist team, they bring in the big guns, Dave. We have a spiritual medium named Tangina, played by Zelda Rubinstein. And I gotta say, she looks a little more like a pale Gina than a tan Gina, but I can't judge.
Wait, that wasn't funny. Why did I laugh? I'm just really glad that the Keebler elf lady had time away from the cookies, too.
Hey, sir, don't you talk about Zelda Rubinstein that way. Rubinstein?
I don't know. Either way, I bet you make some bomb-ass cookies.
Fuck off. That's so fucked up. I love you, Zelda Rubinstein, who has passed away now. She's watching us. Big fan of the show. But Tangina, she's a spiritual medium. Like I said, she's here to rid the house of these spirits and get Carol Ann out of the fucking walls already.
we need to hurry up. We got to get back to the cookies.
Carol Ann, honey, do you see a light?
Tell her to go to the light. They'll follow her. They've been following her for weeks.
Okay, we're going back into the light now.
Oh, wait, I thought the light was bad?
So what I think is going on is that they want Carol Ann to lead the spirits toward the light, but not have her go in it so she doesn't die, but get the spirits to move on. There's some exposition in here.
I'm confused.
You're just going to have to watch the movie. I also want to touch on the fact that Tangina says it's been weeks that they've been following her around. What has Carol Ann been eating in purgatory for weeks?
I'm telling you.
Is there a food court there? Do they have a Sbarro? Whatever. It doesn't matter because we have to keep going, Dave, because there's an entrance to the portal where Carol Ann is being held, and it's in her closet. So they bring out a very specific tool to get her back. I mentioned this in the opening. It's a rope.
Oh my God. Gina's just like, you know what? I actually don't want to die, so go ahead.
Oh, dude. And they tie Diane to the rope, and she goes into the spirit world to find her daughter. Unfortunately, Steve has one end of the rope.
Mm-hmm.
He pulls the rope a little too early. Steven doesn't pull his wife out. He pulls out the giant rotting head of a ghost beast thing. Dude, I actually really like this effect too. I think this looked really good, and I think it's pretty scary.
It was, yeah. It was, freaky. I wouldn't say scary.
But I think it's effective because you don't really expect anything to necessarily come out. It's the first time we see anything come out of it directly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's this giant head that is as tall as the door. But downstairs, where the exit to the portal is, Diane and a very hungry Carol Ann come out covered in ghost jelly.
Relax, dude. It's just astral jello.
My favorite flavor.
Hi, Daddy.
Oh, they're saved. Everyone's out of the walls, or where the fuck ever they were. And in the words of Tangina,
this house is clean.
This is time for the Keebler close-up.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm just glad this is finally over.
Yes.
The Freelings pack up and are obviously moving out because, ghosts and demons in the walls.
Right.
And while the moving truck is getting packed, Steve lets Diane know something.
Honey, I gotta go to the office. I'm gonna pick up some stuff, just clean up a few things. I'm gonna be back early.
So we're leaving tonight for sure.
Yeah, we are.
You say that, Steve, but there's still 19 minutes of runtime left, so things are a little up in the air, buddy.
Yeah, this really confused me because they literally say in the scene, we're leaving tonight, right? We are not sleeping here, for sure. And then the next scene...
Hi, Roy. Hi, Carol Ann.
In the house.
Exactly, dude. The beds are still there, and Diane is taking a bath in her bathroom, and there's still like flowers and like decorations and stuff in there. What did you pack?
This felt like a fucking addendum to the film.
No, I agree. It's strange. Like the kids' room is like empty, but also the closet sucked everything in, so...
It's the newest business.
Vacuum closet.
Install your vacuum closet today.
Suck them into purgatory. So when the kids lie down in bed that night, everything goes just fine, until a terrifying clown doll comes alive and tries to choke Robbie out.
I mean, why is there a clown doll, number one? Number two, why didn't it get sucked into the closet realm? And number three, why on earth did they not already have it packed into the truck?
Or just fucking thrown it away.
I mean...
It's so scary. Newsflash, Dave. The spirit is still there. This house is not clean. I don't care how many closet vacuums you own.
Yeah, right.
The spirit's going nowhere, dude. Mm-hmm. The spirit tosses Diane up a wall while trying to suck Carol Ann back into the closet, dude. Diane escapes into the backyard to yell for help, but she falls into the hole for their swimming pool that they were digging, and a skeleton pops out. But not just one, dude, like a whole generation's worth of skeletons.
It's like it's just a bunch of bodies in the pool, which begs the question: is this where Drowning Pool got their name of their band from?
I hate this. I hate you. But fun fact / not fun fact about this scene, those are real skeletal remains.
I knew that, and I was questioning myself as I was watching it.
The crew decided it would be too expensive and complicated to get fake skeletons, but this wasn't a low-budget indie film.
No.
Goddamn Steven Spielberg produced this thing.
I am shook.
The man has fake skeleton money, is what I'm saying. And in an extra fuck you, they didn't even tell actress Jo Beth Williams, who played Diane, until after that the skeletons were real.
You know what, Spielberg? May your pillow always be warm.
So after that weird little backyard detour, Diane gets back inside the house and pulls her kids away from the evil closet, starting to think this is a metaphor, by the way. And that's when the literal coffins start popping up through the floors in this PG-rated movie.
I am so shook by this.
You know who else pops up, though? It's Steve! Remember Steve, the dad? Remember him?
Oh, yeah. Where the fuck was he at?
Late night at work, I guess. Got caught up telling his boss to go fuck himself.
It was his affair.
Well, Steve is back from fucking his mistress, but he brought his boss back with him too, and he has some choice observations for his boss.
You son of a bitch, you moved the cemetery, but you left the bodies, didn't you?
That cheap bastard.
Oh my God. Why would you think that's a good idea?
For real though, like regardless of paranormal activity happening, how would you feel if you found out your house was built on top of a cemetery and actual bodies were below you every time you played video games in your underwear?
I would say, are you watching me? I would legitimately sue everyone.
Dana, get the car!
Drive away! Daddy!
They didn't show Dana getting in the car,
No.
but I thought they just said, fuck this bitch. We're outta here. Now the entire Freeling family is in the car, and Steve drives off, and the house literally gets crumpled up like a wrapper after the spirits just had some Taco Bell or something.
Before it sucks itself into purgatory?
Yeah, it sucks itself into fucking oblivion, dude. Also, I have another question. Was the cemetery only under the Freelings' house? Why is it only happening to their house? Why is everybody in this neighborhood not experiencing paranormal activity?
Must have been a very, very small cemetery.
I want to see that movie.
Yeah.
You drive into the neighborhood and people are just running out on fire and screaming. Now, the Freelings finally make it safely to a Holiday Inn where they might get stabbed later, but for now, they shove the TV in the room outside, and just like Steve's face when he does, it's hilarious. I think this is a really cute little touch. But exhale all you want, Dave, because we're finally rolling credits.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank Tangina. Woo, buddy. That was quite a journey. I'm not going to lie. Lots of stuff going on.
Ride.
Lots of characters. Lots of surprisingly spooky and heartfelt things going on, honestly. This movie is a blast, and I'm actually kind of bummed that I hadn't taken the time to watch it again sooner. You know?
I am so glad that you made me watch this movie.
Yeah?
Because it's a different type of scary movie than I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I only started watching, I think one of the first scary movies I've ever seen was The Ring.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's when the new generation of scary started.
Yeah.
So this, I feel like, was a very cool new experience for me.
This would obviously fall firmly within the PG-13 rating at the time. A lot of PG-13 horror movies nowadays are just cheap, lazy things that they try to like make a lot of money off of because they can get the younger kids in.
Oh, yeah.
But this is actually a well-crafted film with a really well-crafted narrative.
Yeah.
And obviously Steven Spielberg is attached as a producer. Tobe Hooper, who directed the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he directed this movie.
Interesting.
There's some controversy with that too, but I won't get into it. There's a lot of controversy with this film in general. Lots of like weird, spooky things happen.
I've heard some of the things that happened like during filming and stuff.
It's pretty wild, but I think this is a really great movie and a perfect example of like what a good PG-13 like horror kind of movie can be.
Yes.
They can be good.
I agree, and I think that it's going to be very interesting to see if it holds up against today's age of horror films.
I agree, man. This is a very good matchup, I think. I think this is going to be really fun.
I agree. Let's get to it. I want to get to it.
Let's do it.
Movie versus movie. Welcome to the Thunderdome. This place fucking rules.
Dave.
Yeah.
We're back in the Thunderdome, and
we are.
I still haven't figured out how to stay hydrated in the afterlife, but we're going to push through anyway.
I think that's a great idea. I am thinking about changing my name to Bathsheba.
You should. It suits you. You look like a Bathsheba.
I don't know how to take that. Let's just blow past it.
You haunt me. But before we watch these movies, Dave, you and I decide on 5 things that we both agree make a good genre movie. In this case, haunted house movies. So let's go through them.
Let's do it.
Number 1, we need an ill-equipped family.
These guys are definitely not Zach Baggins and friends.
Number 2, we need a mysterious supernatural force.
What the fuck is this thing?
Number 3, we need spirit-provoking experts.
Are they making it worse or helping? I have no idea.
Number 4, we need atmosphere-building pace.
Is it slow until it's fucking not?
And number 5, we need a gruesome history reveal.
No wonder this fucking bitch is haunted.
Well, let me hop right in here.
Let's do it.
We're talking about ill-equipped family.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a more ill-equipped family than the Freelings, then point them out because look at them. Look at them. They're so ordinary and middle class that someone next door with the same TV remote as them is affecting their lives negatively.
It's true.
Like, there's no way you can think that they're prepared in any way, shape, or form to deal with supernatural entities. I mean, good for them for like going to the parapsychologists and not the cops, but still, the Freelings are so far out of their depth that there's no way they could have ever done this on their own, and that honestly makes them the perfect protagonists in this story.
Okay, I can agree 100% that they are definitely ill-equipped. I will say, though, that the parents are also ill-equipped, because you would think that with 7 people and a dog, that they would be able to fight just some ghosts, but nay. It's just a trucker, a stay-at-home mom, and 5 fucking kids. And also the dog dies in the first 10 minutes. But anyway, they have no idea what to do, and they stay way too fucking long, and they are immediately overwhelmed.
Dude, it is a lot to deal with. They have like whole-ass extra kids than the Freeling family, and they
a sleepwalking kid.
The sleepwalking kid. The house is super old. I get it. They're way out of their depth, for sure. Yeah. But sometimes, like, when supernatural things go awry in your old farmhouse that shouldn't definitely be haunted by any stretch of the imagination, you just gotta buckle down and get shit done, you know?
If it's a supernatural force, count me the fuck out. But it really brings us into our next point perfectly. It's a mysterious supernatural force. So, there's multiple questions about this supernatural force in the beginning of The Conjuring.
Sure.
Is it a young boy who likes clapping?
Yes.
Is it a pissed off witch?
Yes.
Is it a maid who has to clean up after all of these assholes? Is it just the wind? I don't know. I have an idea. This force is definitely mysterious. It loves to toy with his family, scare them, and ultimately make sure they go broke from therapy bills.
The mysterious force doesn't fucking know what itself is. It doesn't know what to be. It has an identity problem. I'm just saying. Figure your shit out first.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, I agree it does start out kind of mysterious at first in The Conjuring, because, what's going on? It's a spooky haunting, but I don't think it gets any more mysterious than in Poltergeist. The parapsychologists think it's a poltergeist, but it actually fits the description of a haunting more, and there's also a demon thing, so they bring in a medium who, quote-unquote, cleans the house, but in fact, it's just Spirit World Randy Savage who wants to crumple up the house on behalf of the Pacific Ocean of corpses under the subdivision. There's a lot going on. I don't even think we know for sure exactly what it is by the time the movie ends. And I think that mystery is endlessly fascinating. It makes me want to rewatch this movie. You're dealing with so many things, but it all feels cohesive in a way, you know?
Yeah. Listen, I didn't even think about that, how the supernatural force in The Conjuring isn't mysterious at the end, because we know exactly what it is. Even the fucking experts in the Poltergeist don't have any clue what's going on.
Oh, we're going to get into the spirit-provoking experts. In Poltergeist, these experts really bring a lot of character, in my opinion. The parapsychologists are definitely out of their depths, along with the family, and they fuck around so much that their presence causes them to have a parade and make one of the guys hallucinate that he's ripping off his own face. And then, when Tangina, the medium, gets involved, shit gets very real here, Dave. She feeds the spirit realm another human, and it gets so pissed off that, again, it crumples up the house. There's so much stuff going on, and despite their ineffectiveness at ridding the home of the forces, these experts riled up the spirits enough to force it to make some moves, which, I don't know, in the end is pretty exciting.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff going on. Actually, in both of these films, really. But honestly, in The Conjuring, the spirit-provoking experts, i.e. Ed and Lorraine Warren, are not only provoking the spirit on purpose, they even tell Roger, yeah, we're gonna piss this thing off. And like clockwork, they make it so mad that everything snowballs out of control, and they have to pull out all the stops to rid the family, Carolyn, really, from the Swamp Witch.
Like, in Poltergeist, they kind of come in, like, hey, we're going to try to understand the spirits. We're going to talk to them and see what's going on. Then Tangina's like, oh, this is fucking bad. This is going really bad. Ed and Lorraine Warren come into the parents' house like they're on the fucking crusade, dude.
Yes.
They're here to lock and load on some ghosts and make them mad and show them some crosses and shit and take that. I don't know. It feels, yes, provoking. I guess it is provoking, but it feels kind of untactful.
Yeah, it's definitely untactful.
Tactless is probably the actual word for that, but
it's like a bull in a china shop, or like a porn star swinging dick in a china shop.
I was gonna say, or like Dave going into any church ever.
It's true.
I'm just kidding. Just right into flames.
Immediately combust. It's true.
That is all to say that the world that both of these films build is pretty spooky. Like the haunted house things that they set up, I think are interesting in both films.
I agree, and that brings us perfectly into our next point: atmosphere building pace. So The Conjuring is actually pretty good at building the pace to match the atmosphere. Aside from the random lulls and jokes here and there, it follows the tried and true method of starting off slow and creepy before it turns to just spooky and turns that shit up to 11. So I think it's a great atmosphere building pace in this movie.
I agree with you. I have some qualms with it, but in my opinion, Poltergeist's pace is really what helps sell this entire story. Like, despite its mildly plotless start, we get a spooky introduction to potential spirits while learning about the family and their inane struggles before diving headfirst into a Zach Baggins wet dream. Like, this shit is nuts. Like, they build up to the spirits and then reveal them to be a fun little family game that they can play in the kitchen, and then it takes a horrible turn and becomes a full-blown hellscape nightmare that kidnaps a child and sends the Freeling family into pure chaos, man. I think it's a really wonderfully paced film that keeps you invested the entire time, and I think builds atmosphere without being boring.
So I think that The Conjuring is a little bit more brutal because, it doesn't have that 80s Steven Spielberg goofy family feeling to it sometimes.
I mean, it is a rated R film.
Yes.
The Conjuring is. It can do that. It's a little more brutal. Yes, it is. But I thought, in my opinion, some of the pacing during the third act even, I didn't have as much attachment to it. So I felt myself kind of zoning off a little.
Now that you're saying that, I do kind of think that every scene that had to do with the Warren's daughter was totally fucking unnecessary. So I think that really took me out of it at that point too, now that I'm thinking about it.
It felt a little unwarranted.
Nope. No.
Give me the points.
That was a gruesome joke you just made.
Rack 'em up, Johnny. Hey, speaking of gruesome.
Oh, fuck.
I do want to get into our big last point, which is gruesome history reveal.
Yes.
The gruesome history in the Poltergeist is a classic for a reason, man. Like, moving the headstones, but not the bodies. Like, it makes sense because it's a real thing that has happened before. When developers are cheap and lazy. For this film, it also demonstrates that classic, like, Lynchian dynamic of a perfectly happy and sunny community where darkness lies just below the surface. In this instance, like, literally. So not only does this reveal work on the surface level of the narrative, but also as a metaphor. Plus, as an audience, it'll keep you wondering if the brand new house you just bought has great-grandma's bones underneath it.
That is definitely like a spooky, plausible concept. I don't think it's anywhere near as gruesome as the history reveal in The Conjuring, which, while being told to us by Lorraine Exposition Warren, is still really fucking gruesome.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Bathsheba, still can't get over the fact that someone actually named their child that, decides she loves Satan, kills her own child, hangs herself in a tree, curses anyone who tries to steal her land, and possesses multiple people to try and kill kids. That's almost as gruesome as her fucking face that we see during the climax of this movie.
I gotta give it to you on this point. Again, The Conjuring is a rated R film. It can get away with more in terms of this. It's a fucking gruesome reveal, and it's very interesting. I think it's a very interesting history and lore, but I feel like the way we get into it feels confusing. There's like so much going on, and they try to introduce so many things that I feel a little confused by it, but thinking about it and nailing it down to just the facts, it's gruesome. It's definitely gruesome, especially on paper.
That is definitely one thing that The Conjuring did right, was the gruesome nature of most of the shit that we see.
And I also did read that The Conjuring, there's no like lewd things or sexual things or like drugs or smoking or bad language even, but the MPAA gave this thing an R rating because they're like, it's just scary. It's just too scary to not be an R rating.
Oh, wow.
And so the producers are like, okay, I guess it's just an R film.
Makes sense, though. I agree with that 100%.
I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of going back and forth. And so I think we kind of got to work this out. We got to work this out, Dave. We got to figure out a winner.
Yes, I agree. Let's just possess our way to the finish line.
Does that make sense?
I don't know.
Hey, look, we did it. It's the finish line. We're at the finish line. Can I go home yet? All right.
Oh, Dave. It's been a long and winding road.
Yes.
To hell.
Long and weirdly named road.
But we are here. We're at the finish line, and we're here to determine which of these films, The Conjuring or Poltergeist, is the better haunted house movie.
Yes, we are. And honestly, I already think I know what I'm going to pick, so you don't mind.
No, hop in, by all means. Don't let me stop you.
As a person who did not get into horror films or anything scary until I was roughly 10 years old, thanks to my older brother who didn't tell me how scary the movie was.
Shout out, Mark.
And then being absolutely mortified about scary movies ever since, I can come into this pretty objectively thinking like, okay, well, I know what's scary. I know what's not to me. So Poltergeist it's not a scary movie to me. It did not scare me at all. There was no jumps at all. It was spooky. It was creepy. And The Conjuring literally made me jump like 3 or 4 times. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Bathsheba was probably the worst part of that. Not the person, the name. And
I think it's a biblical reference, just to be clear.
I know it is, and that's why it's fucking annoying. Bathsheba. However, I think that the Conjuring was more of a boilerplate, like, this is how you make a scary movie. This is how we're going to do it. It's scary. Bah, we gotcha. So I don't think that Poltergeist was like that at all. I think it had its own original story. It's a classic. Everyone knows this movie. Everyone loves this movie that's seen it. And that's for a reason. I think that Poltergeist is the better haunted house film. I choose it for First Prize Film.
You know, I wasn't sure how you were going to feel about it because you throw me for a loop. Oftentimes I'll be like, dude, Dave, you got to see this movie. You're going to fucking love this, dude.
Yeah, and then I don't.
You just don't. No. And so I'm not surprised, but I am a little bit. For me, I never felt myself very attached to The Conjuring.
No.
Even after the first time I saw it.
Right.
I liked Poltergeist when I was a kid, but I'm like, do I care about it that much? No, not particularly.
No.
So I went into this very objectively. I gave The Conjuring a watch, and I was like, okay, there's some stuff I enjoyed about it more than I did the first time I saw it. And Poltergeist, I really liked this film.
Yes.
I think it's great. So here's the thing. The Conjuring is hands down the scarier movie.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a rated R film. It's shot really well. I think the acting is really great. I think there's really cool use of like period things and technology and cameras and stuff to up that spooky level. But to your point, it's very boilerplate. It feels very paint by numbers.
Yes.
Like you can feel the structure. You know where we're going and you know almost to the minute what's going to happen because of that structure. It's so deeply embedded.
Yeah.
And Poltergeist still had some surprises for me. And I know this movie and I remember it better than I thought I did. And it still threw me for a few loops because even though they're just a boring family in the suburbs, they're just pulled into this horrible thing and their daughter, I don't know, it's a lot. And even with some of the weird kind of bad effects, this thing does show its uniqueness in spades. And I really liked it. And I really want to watch it again. So for me, the better haunted house movie is hands down Poltergeist from 1982.
Look at us agreeing again.
Look, God, Dave, we're so good. We're just simpatico, huh?
Yeah, this is not good for us, though.
Nope. I like these kinds of movies. They're not always surprising, which is what I thought was really fun about Poltergeist, is it still feels fresh, like structurally and stuff. And I don't know. I love them when they're good. I really fucking hate them when they're bad. So
true.
And a lot of them are bad. They're cheap
bad.
scare kind of movies. They can be. So yeah, I don't know. I think this is a fun little adventure. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. I definitely was not ready for it. I thought I was going to be like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. It was fun. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was a good time.
I'm glad. Yeah, and I can't wait till you get back out here to Los Angeles so we can get the old Ouija board out and summon the devil.
Oh, yeah, oh boy. Like, well, I guess the episode's over.
I'm in hell.
Hey, First Prize listeners, thanks for tuning in this week. Thanks for looking out for EVPs with us. If you enjoyed this episode, if you enjoyed hearing us fear TVs and sellers, consider subscribing to our socials. It's at First Prize Pod on all platforms, and that includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're on TikTok and YouTube as well. Also, don't forget to check out our website. It's firstprizefilms.com.
Yes, we do this for free because we've made a killing selling ghost insurance on TikTok. But if you'd like to support us, consider rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts or come hang out on Twitch. We stream every week, talking about movies, having some laughs, and chatting with all of you.
Yeah, it's a good time. Join us next week, though, as we turn out the lights for these dark thrillers.
God damn it,
Get it's a
dude.
light switch joke.
I get it. We're talking about Nightcrawler from 2014 versus Falling Down, 1993.
Yeah, I'm going to enjoy it so much, I'm going to fall down.
God damn it. Why do I even do this show with you?
I don't know. You're going to find out. See ya.
Bye. The face ripping scene is the scene I remember most from this movie when I saw it as a kid. This fucked me up.
Of course it did.
Also, in my head, it was Jeff Goldblum played this part. I don't know why.